Yo, my people, how are you guys doing? Hope everyone is doing good today. It's another edition of Business Support, guys, and in today's edition of Business Support, I will be sharing with you guys my experience in China for 3 years counting. I will be sharing with you the things that I went through from the day that I arrived at the airport right up till my graduation day. I'm going to be telling you a lot of things about my experiences, my arrival. I'm going to be talking about my classes, my academics, my campus life. I'm going to be talking about the culture and the language difficulties that we faced, my internships, seminars, conferences. I'm going to be talking about company visits, expert talks. I'm going to be talking about professional grooming, leisure, social life, campus tours, sports, climate, and finally, I'm going to be talking to you about my graduation day. So guys, if that's all what you want to listen to, is all that's what you want to watch on this channel today, don't go away. And before I continue, I want to plead with you, if you have not yet subscribed to our channel, do us a favor now, please now, just go down to the subscription button, hit the red button, bam, and you will be part of this family. Thank you guys, and I'll be right back. Welcome back, guys, welcome back. So like I said, today's edition I will be talking about my experience in China, my study experience in China as an international student. But before I say anything about my experience in China as an international student, I would like to introduce to you guys Jiangsu University. Welcome back, guys. So I will right ahead with the video and sharing my experience in China as an international student. Let me start with my arrival. before I was in Dubai, I stayed in Dubai for about 3 years. Then I decided to further my education. So I arrived in China, and I knew nothing about the Chinese. I knew very little about Chinese. It was my first time to travel to Asia, so I knew very little about the Asian culture. So I started having issues right from the airport, where I was mistaken for someone else. They'll ask you to turn your head like this, turn your head like this. They mistook me for someone else, and I had to miss my flight. That started my China journey. I missed my flight. I arrived in China, and my luggages didn't arrive. I had to wait at the airport for hours upon hours. My university that came to pick me up from the airport, we had to wait, and then the bags didn't arrive, so I had to travel to my university. That is, I arrived at Shanghai airport, and then I had to travel to Jiangsu province, where my university is, and I went to Zhenjiang. The next day I had to go back to Shanghai alone this time. The first time in the country, you don't even know how to take the subway, you don't even know how to take a taxi, you cannot speak Chinese. So I had to go back to the airport to pick up my luggages. That was how my China started. So a few days after, we did registration, we did orientation, and everything was set to start classes. And then I started my classes. I met with my lecturers, and they were all nice people. Although people always complain about their English level, but it was communicational. Everything was okay. They could speak the English that we expected, and they could transmit the knowledge that we expected. Apart from that, every other thing was very normal with the classes, and every other thing went on smoothly. As every international student, one thing you will face, one major difficulty that you will face in China is the language difficulty. I faced a lot of difficulty with the language. In the first year, it was really terrible. It's difficult to go to the store to buy something, or to go to the supermarket, to move around, to travel. It was really difficult to travel around. But as the years went on, I started learning the language, making friends. Now things started becoming very easier, so we could move around the city, we could really have fun while we study. All along, it was really a good experience. So if you have plans of traveling to China for studies, let no one deceive you about the very negative things. There is nowhere in the world that we don't have negativity. There is negativity everywhere in the world. But if you have plans, if you have dreams of ever traveling to China for studies, follow your dream, and it will take you somewhere. So like every other professional study, during our MBA study program in China, we had to do an internship. I did my internship in a company where I obtained a professional experience, where I had to learn about Chinese culture, about Chinese business etiquette, about how Chinese people think, about how Chinese people do business, how China have developed this far. Like, learn a whole lot of things, real life experience with Chinese business gurus. We had seminars with a whole lot of business entrepreneurs and company CEOs. We visited companies. We had conferences every now and then where we learn a lot of things about business. So everything that I'll be sharing to you guys on this channel will be my first-hand experience and knowledge in China. So in some of the companies that we visited, we had the opportunity to talk to the CEO, to the managers, to the CEOs, and we met the workers and actually had to talk to them and find out how they feel and how the business is going on. So when I'll be sharing with you my experiences doing business, everything is going to be first-hand information. And guys, there is one funny thing that I really experienced in China during my stay. And it's about sports. If you know Cameroon, if you know where I come from Cameroon, and we are known for being one of the best footballers in football nations in the world, and in Africa. But when you look at our sports infrastructures, like our football fields, we learned football on bare ground, on bare floor. But if you come to China and see the kind of sports infrastructures that these guys have, if you see the kind of fields that these children start playing football in, but still, I don't know, when it comes to football, no one knows about China. So this is really something that I've not understood. Like, it's really not their thing. Football is not their thing. It's our thing. So we really enjoyed the beautiful pitches while we studied in China. We played football on world-class stadiums, and we really enjoy it. This is one of the things that I really enjoyed during my stay in China. The infrastructure. You enjoy first-class infrastructure. Now I'm going to a very interesting part. When everyone thinks about China, it's one of the things that comes to your mind is tourism. China is a very beautiful country. So during my stay in China, I had the opportunity to visit a lot of places. I had the opportunity to travel to Beijing. I had the opportunity to travel to Shenyang. I traveled to the north of China. I traveled to the west of China. I traveled to Heilongjiang. I explored Shanghai. I went to museums. I traveled to a lot of touristic attractions that I usually just see on the internet. So that's an opportunity. If you come to travel to China, you have the opportunity to meet or to travel to most of the places that you only saw on TV. Now guys, talking about the climate. China, it was my first time to see snow when I came to China. Like for real, it was my first time to see snow when I came to China. So, most guys, when they see us from Africa, they think that Africa is very hot. That's why we are black. They'll ask you like, are you black because of the weather? Like, is it because it's very hot? And they'll even come to touch your skin to see if maybe they will find something on it. So really, it was really an embarrassing situation that I think that I see that like in recent days, people think that Africans are black because of the climate or because of the weather in Africa. So in China, it was my first time to see snow. It was my first time to really witness the four different climates in the world. Like we have a winter, we have spring, we have autumn, and we have summer. So I was really not in a difficult situation because I've been in the two extremes. Yeah, I've lived in Dubai, where it's an extremely hot place, and then in China during winter it's really cold. So it was my first time to experience such a cold environment. But in spring and in autumn, it's just like normal back home. We have the rainy season and we have the dry season. We are used to cold and hot mixed together. So in China, it was my first time to witness -5, -10, -15 when places are really cold. But now I think I'm okay. I've adapted to the situation. And in summer, when it's very hot, I'm like, oh, it's not what I experienced in Dubai. I stayed in Dubai where we get temperatures of 48, 49, 50 degrees. So it's really the kind of was really a nice experience for me to have stayed in a place where places are very hot and come to a place where sometimes it gets really cold. So talking about academics, my first year was just meant to do my classwork, to finish my courses. So I finished my courses in the first year, and then in the second year I had to start my research program. I started my research program, and then when I finished my research program, while my research program was still going on, I had to do an internship. So I attached myself with a company and I did an internship for a couple of months. Then everything was done. Then I started preparing now for my final defense.